All right, so good morning. We are on lesson 357 with A Course in Miracles, the workbook lessons. And we're just going to go ahead and tuck our chin and bow our head and pray in. So we just know that God is so good. That God is right here and right now in full force and effortless ease, in wellness, in oneness, and that we are one with it. That it has us and holds us and knows us as we continue to make our way home to peace. And we trust that we will see miracles where we once saw lack and limitations, and that we'll be given solutions where we once saw dead ends. So we commit to remembering that we are immersed in God's holy ecstasy and audaciousness, where all things are possible and where all things are perfect. And we give thanks for this day of miraculous encounters. May we always remember that this is given to us not just for our own good, but so that we might be fearless extensions of God's love. And so for this we give thanks and we let it be. And together we say, and so it is. Amen.
Amen. It is.
So today's lesson, lesson 357, truth answers every call we make to God, responding first with miracles and then returning unto us to be itself. Forgiveness, truth's reflection, tells me how to offer miracles and thus escape the prison house in which I think I live. Your Holy Son is pointed out to me, first in my brother, then in myself. Your voice instructs me patiently to hear your word and give as I receive. And as I look upon your Son today, I hear your voice instructing me to find the way to you as you appoint that way shall be, as you appointed that way shall be. Behold his sinlessness and be you healed. So this lesson is talking again about the reciprocal nature of love and of forgiveness. And we spoke on the earlier call this morning about when somebody gets under your skin, that they're the perfect reflection of something that's already under your skin, and they're just pointing it out to you. And it says that here, your Holy Son is pointing out to me, first in my brother and then in me. So, we want to bury our fears and our crucifixions in our brother and say, we have nothing to do with it. They're just bothering me. But really, we're the ones who have the bother button installed within us, and we have to disengage that button so that we can have peace. And it comes in many different ways, and the way to get to peace is forgiveness. Is to forgive ourselves for being tricked into thinking that we can be bothered, forgive ourselves for thinking that this is a part of our identity. It's not. And to, forgive our brothers for, for us thinking that they did something wrong. They did nothing wrong. They simply held up a mirror to us to show us where we had some work to do. And so, it's a blessing when that walks through the threshold, where somebody's bothering us. It's a blessing because we get to go to that place. It's directional. Anger, resentment, it's all directional. It shows us where we still have work to do. God created us as good and beautiful and holy. That's the truth and the whole truth. Once we see that in our brother, we can we have a better possibility of accepting it within ourselves. And this is what this lesson is saying, it's a small lesson, but there's a lot in there. Forgiveness, truth, reflection tells me how to offer miracles and thus escape the prison house in which I think I live. Your Holy Son is pointed out to me, first in my brother and then in me. Your voice instructs me patiently to hear your word and give as I receive. And as I look upon your Son today, I hear your voice instructing me the way to find the way to you, as appointed that way shall be. As you appointed that way shall be. Behold his sinlessness and be you healed. It's a big, it's a big endeavor, but if we don't do it now, when? You know, it's 2014, it's the end of the year. It's time for us to let this stuff go. We don't want to bring it into the new year. Demand your healing. Demand your healing from the Holy Spirit. And say to the Holy Spirit, I've carried this crucifixion too long. You and I both know I have no idea how to let it go. But today I'm willing. I'm willing to sincerely let it go. I don't want to carry this into the next chapter with me. And I will do whatever you ask me to do. And sometimes that's the biggest hurdle. I shared earlier on the call, earlier this morning, that I had unforgiveness with someone. And, you know, for me, when I sat down with the Holy Spirit, it was like directing me to go to her and get it cleaned up. And so I went to her and I was like, look, I want to get this cleaned up, and I'll do whatever it takes to clear it up. And she asked me to do the thing I really didn't want to do, which was to do this show with her again. And because the show had driven me crazy. But you know what? I ended up doing it. And now when I see her, you know, we don't see each other too often, but like even when I see her on Facebook, I don't hate her. I don't fear her. And there was a time in my life where I hated and feared her. So if it's possible for me, it's possible for anyone. And that's the good news today. Your little willingness will take you a very, very long way. And it's scary to let go of the crucifixion because it's become a powerful part of our identity. I understand that. If I give this up, it means 100 things to the ego. It means I'm giving permission for somebody to walk all over me, or it means that I'm saying that this isn't real or true, or it means this, that, or that. The ego is going to tell you a million stories to keep you holding fast to the crucifixion. Just do your best to be vigilant about which voice is the ego and which voice is love. And does anybody want to share on that? Yeah, it's a lot.
It's such a powerful lesson, Maureen. But it is probably, to me, one of the hardest lessons to do, especially when you have, some unforgiveness with someone that you feel really strongly about. You have the work to do, and sometimes, boy, it's mustering that courage or whatever it is. That is the hard part.
Yes, but you have done it. You have already done it in some degree with someone once or twice, maybe a couple times. You've already done it. So you already know how much you get from it. And you have to hold on to that even when you walk through the darkness, you know. You have to hold on to the idea of that you don't know what anything is for, but if you just do the steps, you will be carried through it. You know, and you don't have to do it with strength or conviction. You can do it with fear and worry and this isn't going to work out. Just do it anyhow. You know, like when I called that woman, I didn't feel good. It felt horrible. I didn't feel strong. I felt weak. You know, that's how I felt. But don't let that get in the way of thinking that you're not strong or you're not amazing. You know, this is just a little classroom. I wrote today on this other thing that, you know, along the path, there are going to be some rough patches, but those rough patches are only to help us rub away that which is not us. And, you know, with all of these stories, these symbolic stories to greatness, it's never like a smooth sailing. It's always, you know, it's always a rough course that helps to tenderize your soul and build your strength and your conviction. Think about Mary riding that freaking donkey to Bethlehem while she's a pregnant teenager, you know. Like, that was not a romantic story. You know, think about the story of Rudy or the story of Mahatma Gandhi or the story of Schindler's List. God, imagine that fear that lived in his body when he had to keep doing the right thing, even in the face of all that was against him. You know, those are the worthy journeys. Those are the worthy journeys because as you do it for yourself, you're actually doing it for everyone. Everyone benefits from you laying down the crucifixion. Everyone who's been crucified by the specific crucifixion that you think you've been crucified by, the more you lay it down, the more it's possible for them to let it go. So this isn't just, you know, you're right, it's not a little lesson. It's a big lesson. But we're on lesson 357. If not now, if not now, when? you know? It's like the Holy Spirit's pouring on the bleach at this part. Like, you know what I mean? We've done a little scrubbing and a little rubbing. Now we're going for it. We are going to scrub this thing out of us. We are going to come wholly to it. And for each of us, there's different words and there's different ways to go and there's a different course and a different direction. It's specific to your own situation. But if you ask the Holy Spirit, you will be guided to know what to do, what to say, to whom, and to when. And if you don't get anything at this point, use another modality of communication. If you sit silently and you're not getting anything, then pick up a pen and start writing to the Holy Spirit. But do whatever you can to access communication with your divine so that you can let this go. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just put that into a little meditation right now. We'll take it into some stillness so we can cultivate that place of willingness that will allow us to let it go. And just know this, like, we're all in this together. I have things that I have to forgive and let go of. You're not alone. You're not the only one doing the work this morning. We all have some scrubbing to do. So here we go. Just there in a breath. Just taking in a breath and just being with that breath. And there is something heavy that's been on your heart, maybe for a week, maybe for a month, maybe for a year, maybe you've been carrying it your whole life. And today's the day that we get even more willing with letting it go. And no matter how hooked in it seems, and no matter how much of your bloodline it feels like, there is a possibility in the Holy Spirit that will wash this illusion from your picture. That will just wash it right away. And that's what we're asking for. We're asking to come holy. We're asking to be and see and free love in a greater degree, beginning with ourselves. So just taking in a breath. We're just going to be here for 3 minutes, and here we go.